Hello there. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. Wherever you are in the world right now, allow yourself to settle into this shared moment of stillness. Let the noise of the day fade away. Let your thoughts grow quiet, like the gentle drift of clouds across a moonlit sky. Right now, as you listen to these words, something extraordinary is about to happen. Your body is preparing to enter a different mode. Your mind is ready to drift through other worlds while your brain begins its quiet work of repair and restoration. And somehow, from all that hidden activity, you will wake refreshed and renewed. Tonight we journey inward, into the quiet realm of sleep itself. A world of dreams, circadian rhythms and mysteries that science is still trying to unravel. We will explore why every creature needs rest, how dreams help process emotions, how the brain cleanses itself during the night, and why sleep shapes the very way we think and feel. All of it waiting to be shared in the stillness. Tonight, let's drift off together while exploring over 100 soothing facts about sleep. There's no rush here, no test at the end. Just soft words and quiet wonders to carry you into rest. Welcome to Drowsy Discovery. I am glad you found your way here tonight. Perhaps you have had a long day. Perhaps you simply enjoy falling asleep to thoughts about the science of slumber. Either way, this space is for you. There is something profoundly peaceful about contemplating sleep. Every fact about rest is a reminder that we spend nearly a third of our lives in this mysterious state. And it is always healing, always dreaming, always preparing us for the waking world. You are part of this story. Every night, your brain replays and rewires the experiences of the day. Your body repairs tissues and strengthens defenses. And your mind weaves dreams from fragments of memory and emotion. If you enjoy these gentle journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is relax. So settle in. Let your breathing slow. And let the weight of the day drift away like starlight, fading into the cosmic background. Sleep is patient beyond measure. It comes when we surrender, not when we demand. Dreams unfold at their own pace. The body heals in its own time. And yet, within all that quietness, there are sudden bursts of wonder. Vivid dreams that feel more real than waking life. Memories that crystallize overnight. Insights that arrive with the morning light. Tonight, we will wander through this magnificent inner world. We will meet the forces that shape our rest, and discover processes that determine the quality of our waking lives. And we will uncover truths about sleep that may surprise even the most curious minds. But there is no hurry. Sleep has been with us since life began. It can wait a little longer while you settle in. Let us begin with the fundamental mystery of why we sleep at all. Sleep remains one of science's most enduring mysteries. Despite centuries of study and remarkable advances in neuroscience, sleep remains one of the most profound puzzles we have yet to fully solve. We know that sleep is essential for survival, that it affects mood, memory, and physical health, yet the fundamental question of why we must enter this vulnerable state every night still eludes a complete answer. Scientists have proposed numerous theories, from energy conservation to cellular repair to memory consolidation, but no single explanation captures the full picture. What we do know is that every creature with a nervous system appears to require some form of rest, suggesting sleep evolved very early in the history of life. The mystery deepens when we consider that the brain remains remarkably active during sleep, cycling through complex stages that serve purposes we are only beginning to understand. Perhaps the enduring mystery of sleep is part of its beauty, a reminder that even in the age of science, some wonders remain beyond our full comprehension. No one knows exactly why we dream. Dreams have fascinated humanity since the earliest recorded civilizations, yet their true purpose remains shrouded in mystery. Some researchers believe dreams serve as a form of emotional processing, helping us work through the fears, desires, and experiences of waking life. Others suggest dreams are simply the byproduct of random neural activity during sleep, the brain weaving narratives from scattered signals. There are theories that dreams help consolidate memories, rehearse threatening scenarios, or even spark creative insights. What makes the question so difficult is that dreams are deeply subjective, fleeting experiences that often vanish upon waking, making them challenging to study scientifically. Brain imaging has revealed that the same regions active during waking thought light up during dreaming, suggesting dreams may be a continuation of our conscious mental life in a different form. Despite all our advances, dreams remain one of the most personal and least understood aspects of human experience, a nightly journey into realms we cannot fully explain. Every animal with a brain needs sleep in some form. From the smallest insects to the largest whales, every animal with a centralized nervous system appears to require some form of sleep or rest. This universal need suggests that sleep evolved very early in the history of life, and serves functions so essential that evolution has preserved it across hundreds of millions of years. Different species have developed remarkably varied sleeping patterns adapted to their environments and survival needs, but the fundamental requirement for rest remains constant. Fish rest quietly in sheltered spots, birds tuck their heads under their wings, and mammals curl up in dens or nests, all obeying the same ancient biological imperative. Even fruit flies with their tiny brains show clear signs of sleep and suffer when deprived of it. The universality of sleep across the animal kingdom hints at core biological processes that transcend species boundaries, processes we are only beginning to understand. Whatever sleep does for the brain and body, it is clearly so vital that life itself cannot proceed without it. Some jellyfish sleep even though they have no brain. One of the most surprising discoveries in sleep science is that even jellyfish, creatures with no centralized brain, appear to enter sleep-like states. Researchers studying upside-down jellyfish observe that at night, these animals become less active, respond more slowly to stimuli, and show a rebound need for rest if kept awake. This finding challenges our assumptions about what sleep requires, and suggests that the drive to rest may be even more fundamental than previously thought. Jellyfish possess only a diffuse network of neurons, lacking anything resembling the complex brain structures associated with sleep in mammals. Yet their behavior follows the same basic patterns we recognize as sleep: reduced activity, lowered responsiveness, and increased rest following deprivation. This implies that sleep, or something very like it, may have evolved before brains themselves, arising in the earliest forms of animal life. The sleeping jellyfish reminds us that the need for rest is woven into the very fabric of life, even in its simplest forms. Humans spend about 1/3 of their lives asleep. Over the course of an average lifetime, a person will spend roughly 25 to 30 years asleep, making sleep one of the most significant activities we engage in. This might seem like an enormous amount of time lost to unconsciousness, but those sleeping hours are far from wasted. During sleep, the brain consolidates memories, clears metabolic waste, regulates hormones, and processes the emotional experiences of the day. The body repairs tissues, strengthens the immune system, and restores energy reserves depleted during waking hours. If we lived to be 90 years old, we would have slept for approximately 30 of those years, dreaming for perhaps 5 or 6 of them. Far from being passive downtime, sleep is an active, dynamic state essential for physical health, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. The fact that evolution has preserved such a large commitment to sleep, despite its apparent vulnerability, speaks to its irreplaceable importance in our lives. The longest someone has stayed awake was 11 days. In 1964, a 17-year-old student named Randy Gardner stayed awake for 11 days and 25 minutes as part of a science fair project, setting what remains one of the most famous records for sleep deprivation. During the experiment, Gardner experienced increasing cognitive difficulties, mood swings, paranoia, and even hallucinations as the days progressed. His speech slurred, his memory faltered, and he struggled to complete basic tasks that would normally be trivial. Remarkably, after finally sleeping for about 14 hours, he recovered without apparent long-term damage, though modern scientists caution that prolonged sleep deprivation carries serious health risks. The experiment revealed just how quickly the human mind and body deteriorate without rest, underscoring sleep's vital role in maintaining normal function. Today, such extreme sleep deprivation experiments are considered unethical due to the known dangers involved. Gardner's record stands as a stark reminder that while we can push our limits, the need for sleep is not something we can simply override. Sleep deprivation can be more dangerous than food deprivation. While going without food for extended periods is certainly harmful, research suggests that complete sleep deprivation may actually be more immediately dangerous. Studies in laboratory animals have shown that total sleep deprivation can lead to death within a matter of weeks, often faster than death from starvation. In humans, severe sleep deprivation causes hallucinations, psychosis, immune system collapse, and eventually organ failure if pushed to extremes. The brain relies on sleep to clear toxic waste products, regulate hormones, and maintain the delicate balance of neurotransmitters that govern mood and cognition. Without sleep, these systems begin to fail rapidly, leading to cascading health problems that affect every organ in the body. While humans have survived lengthy fasts under controlled conditions, the complete absence of sleep quickly becomes incompatible with life. This sobering fact underscores just how essential sleep is, not merely as a luxury or convenience, but as a fundamental biological necessity. After just 24 hours without sleep, your reactions slow dramatically. Missing just one night of sleep can have surprisingly serious effects on your ability to function. Studies have shown that after 24 hours of wakefulness, cognitive impairment is comparable to having a blood alcohol level at or above the legal limit for driving in many countries. Reaction times slow significantly, attention wavers, and the ability to make quick decisions becomes compromised. The frontal cortex, responsible for judgment and impulse control, is particularly sensitive to sleep loss, making poor choices more likely. This is one reason why drowsy driving is considered as dangerous as drunk driving, claiming thousands of lives each year. Even routine tasks become more error-prone, and the risk of accidents at work or at home increases substantially. The 24-hour mark represents a threshold beyond which the brain simply cannot compensate for the lack of rest. It serves as a powerful reminder that sleep is not optional but essential for safe, effective functioning in daily life. Sleep loss can make you hallucinate. One of the most unsettling effects of prolonged sleep deprivation is the onset of hallucinations. Sensory experiences that feel completely real but have no basis in external reality. After about 72 hours without sleep, many people begin to see, hear, or feel things that are not there, from shadows moving in peripheral vision to voices or sounds that have no source. These hallucinations arise because the sleep-deprived brain begins to malfunction, losing its ability to distinguish between internal neural activity and genuine sensory input. The boundary between waking and dreaming starts to blur, and fragments of dreamlike imagery can intrude into conscious awareness. Some individuals experience paranoia or delusions, believing they are being watched or threatened by unseen forces. These symptoms typically resolve quickly once sleep is restored, but they vividly demonstrate how dependent our perception of reality is on adequate rest. The hallucinating mind is a mind desperately in need of sleep, struggling to maintain coherence in the absence of its most fundamental restorative process. You cannot truly catch up on lost sleep completely. Many people believe that sleeping in on weekends can erase the effects of sleep deprivation accumulated during the week, but research suggests this is largely a myth. While extra sleep can help reduce some symptoms of tiredness, the cognitive and health deficits caused by chronic sleep loss are not fully reversible with a few long nights. Studies show that people who regularly undersleep and then try to recover still show impaired alertness, reduced performance, and lingering metabolic disturbances. The body does attempt to recover by increasing deep sleep and REM sleep after deprivation, but the process is incomplete. Certain functions, particularly those related to memory consolidation and immune regulation, may never fully recover from extended periods of poor sleep. Moreover, irregular sleep patterns themselves can disrupt circadian rhythms, creating additional problems beyond simple fatigue. The notion of a sleep debt that can be repaid in full is comforting but misleading. The best strategy is consistent, adequate sleep each night, rather than hoping to make up for lost time later. Your brain cleans itself of toxins while you sleep. One of the most remarkable discoveries in recent sleep science is the glymphatic system, a network of channels in the brain that becomes highly active during sleep to flush out metabolic waste. During waking hours, the brain generates various byproducts as it processes information and maintains its billions of neural connections, including proteins like beta amyloid that are associated with Alzheimer's disease. When we sleep, brain cells actually shrink slightly, allowing cerebrospinal fluid to flow more freely through the spaces between them, washing away accumulated debris. This cleansing process is largely suppressed during wakefulness, meaning the brain relies on sleep to perform this essential housekeeping. Studies suggest that inadequate sleep may allow toxic substances to build up over time, potentially contributing to neurodegenerative diseases. The discovery of the glymphatic system has transformed our understanding of why sleep is so vital for long-term brain health. Far from being a passive state, sleep is when the brain actively maintains itself, ensuring it remains clean and functional for the challenges of the following day. Sleep helps your brain rewire itself through neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life, and sleep plays a crucial role in this process. During sleep, the brain replays experiences from the day, strengthening important connections, while pruning away those that are less useful. This synaptic refinement helps consolidate learning, making new skills and knowledge more permanent. Without adequate sleep, the brain's ability to adapt and rewire is significantly impaired. Research has shown that people who sleep well after learning a new task retain it far better than those who remain awake. Sleep appears to provide a window during which the brain can work undisturbed, reorganizing itself without the constant flood of sensory input that characterizes wakefulness. This process is especially important during childhood and adolescence, when the brain is undergoing rapid development. Even in adulthood, the nightly rewiring that occurs during sleep keeps our minds flexible, adaptable, and capable of growth. Your brain uses less energy in deep sleep than when awake. During the deepest stages of sleep, known as slow-wave sleep, the brain's metabolic activity decreases significantly compared to wakefulness. Neural firing becomes more synchronized and slower, with large waves of electrical activity sweeping across the cortex in a coordinated rhythm. This reduced activity correlates with a decrease in glucose consumption and oxygen use, suggesting the brain is in a more restful, energy-conserving state. However, this does not mean the brain is inactive. Rather, it is engaged in different processes, such as memory consolidation and metabolic restoration. The energy savings during deep sleep may allow the brain to redirect resources toward repair and maintenance functions that cannot occur as efficiently during waking hours. Interestingly, REM sleep shows brain activity levels closer to wakefulness, so overall energy conservation depends on the mix of sleep stages throughout the night. The cyclical nature of sleep ensures that periods of lower energy use alternate with more active phases, balancing restoration with the cognitive work that occurs in dreams. Sleep strengthens your memories by replaying experiences. While you sleep, your brain is busy replaying the events and learnings of the day, a process called memory consolidation. During deep sleep and REM sleep, neural patterns associated with recent experiences are reactivated, strengthening the connections that encode those memories. This replay is not a passive recording, but an active process that transforms fragile short-term memories into more stable long-term ones. Studies using brain imaging have shown that the same neurons that fired during learning reactivate during subsequent sleep, often in an accelerated, compressed form. This nighttime rehearsal helps integrate new information with existing knowledge, making it more accessible and useful. Without adequate sleep, memories remain more fragile and are more easily forgotten or distorted. The phenomenon of sleep replay explains why a good night's rest before an exam or after learning a new skill can dramatically improve retention. Your sleeping brain is essentially practicing and filing away the lessons of the day, preparing you for tomorrow. Lack of sleep makes you more likely to misremember. Sleep deprivation does not only impair the formation of new memories, but also increases the likelihood of false memories, recollections of events that never actually happened. Research has shown that tired minds are more susceptible to suggestion and more likely to confuse imagined or heard details with genuine experiences. The brain's ability to accurately encode and later retrieve information depends heavily on adequate rest. Without sleep, the prefrontal cortex, which helps us distinguish between true and false memories, functions less effectively. Studies have demonstrated that sleep-deprived individuals are more likely to incorporate misleading information into their recollections, confidently remembering things that were suggested to them, rather than things they actually witnessed. This has significant implications for eyewitness testimony and everyday reliability of memory. The well-rested brain maintains clearer boundaries between what happened and what might have happened. Ensuring adequate sleep is therefore essential not only for remembering accurately, but for maintaining a trustworthy sense of our own past. Dreams help your brain process emotions. One of the leading theories about why we dream is that dreams serve as a form of overnight therapy, helping the brain process and regulate emotions from waking life. During REM sleep, when most vivid dreaming occurs, the stress-related neurochemical norepinephrine is suppressed, creating a safe neurological environment in which emotional memories can be reprocessed. This may explain why we often wake feeling calmer about something that troubled us the night before. Dreams appear to strip away the emotional intensity from difficult experiences while preserving the informational content. Studies have shown that people who are deprived of REM sleep have more difficulty regulating their emotions and are more reactive to negative stimuli. Dreaming may serve as a nightly reset, allowing us to face the new day without carrying the full emotional weight of the previous one. Whether through symbolic narratives or abstract imagery, dreams seem to help us come to terms with our feelings, making sleep an essential ally in emotional well-being. Some people dream entirely in black and white. While most people report dreaming in color, a small proportion of the population experiences dreams entirely in black and white or shades of gray. Interestingly, research suggests this may be linked to media exposure during childhood. People who grew up watching black and white television are more likely to report colorless dreams later in life, while those raised with color media tend to dream in full color. This indicates that the visual content of dreams may be shaped by our early experiences and the way we have been trained to perceive the world. For most people today, color dreams are the norm, but the persistence of grayscale dreaming in some individuals offers a fascinating window into how culture and technology influence our inner lives. Color or its absence in dreams does not appear to correlate with any particular psychological trait or dream meaning. The diversity of dreaming experience reminds us that the sleeping mind draws from a deeply personal well of memory and perception. Blind people can still experience visual dreams. People who were born blind typically do not have visual imagery in their dreams, because they have never had visual experiences to draw upon. However, those who lost their sight later in life often continue to dream in vivid visual detail for years or even decades after becoming blind. Their dreams may feature people, places, and colors from before they lost their vision, drawn from stored visual memories. For those blind from birth, dreams are rich in other sensory experiences, including sounds, textures, smells, and emotions, just as their waking experience is. This shows that dreams are constructed from whatever sensory data the brain has available, adapting to the dreamer's unique perceptual world. Studies of blind dreamers reveal that the emotional and narrative content of dreams remains just as vivid and meaningful, regardless of whether visual imagery is present. The dreaming brain is remarkably flexible, creating immersive experiences tailored to the individual's life history and sensory capabilities. Some people have recurring dreams across decades. Recurring dreams, those that repeat with similar themes or scenarios over time, are surprisingly common and can persist for years or even a lifetime. Common themes include being chased, falling, losing teeth, or being unprepared for an exam, experiences that resonate across cultures and age groups. These repetitive dreams are thought to reflect unresolved emotional concerns or ongoing stresses in the dreamer's life. The brain may return to these scenarios repeatedly as a way of processing issues that have not been fully addressed during waking hours. For some people, the same dream recurs in nearly identical form, while for others, the core theme remains constant, but details shift over time. Often, recurring dreams diminish or cease entirely once the underlying issue is resolved or the dreamer's life circumstances change. The persistence of certain dream themes across decades highlights the deep connection between our inner emotional lives and the narratives we construct in sleep. People forget up to 90% of their dreams. Most dreams fade from memory within minutes of waking, and research suggests that the average person forgets 90% or more of their dream content by the time they are fully awake. This rapid forgetting is due in part to the neurochemical environment of sleep, which does not favor the encoding of new memories. During REM sleep, levels of norepinephrine, a chemical important for memory formation, are very low. Unless a dream is particularly vivid or the sleeper wakes during or immediately after the dream, it typically vanishes without a trace. Keeping a dream journal or setting an intention to remember can improve recall, but for most people, the vast majority of dream life remains inaccessible. This ephemeral quality has fascinated humans for millennia, leading to beliefs that dreams are fleeting messages from beyond ordinary consciousness. Whether meaningful or random, dreams leave only the faintest traces in our waking minds. Dreams can sometimes solve real-world problems. Throughout history, there are numerous accounts of people solving difficult problems or achieving creative breakthroughs through dreams. The chemist Auguste Kekulé famously reported that the circular structure of the benzene molecule came to him in a dream of a snake biting its own tail. Inventors, artists, and scientists have attributed insights to dreams, suggesting that the sleeping brain continues working on challenges even while conscious thought is suspended. The relaxed, associative nature of dream cognition may allow connections to form that would be blocked by the more linear, critical thinking of wakefulness. Dreams draw on a vast store of memories and impressions, recombining them in novel ways that can yield unexpected solutions. Of course, not every dream delivers a breakthrough, and many are simply bizarre without apparent meaning. Yet the possibility that sleep can incubate insights gives an extra reason to value and protect our nightly rest. Some people can control their dreams through practice. Lucid dreaming, the ability to become aware that you are dreaming while still inside the dream, can be cultivated with practice and specific techniques. Practitioners often use methods such as reality testing, which involves regularly questioning whether one is awake or dreaming throughout the day, building a habit that carries over into sleep. Another popular technique is mnemonic induction, where the dreamer repeats an intention to recognize the dream state as they fall asleep. With consistent effort, many people can learn to achieve lucid dreams, at least occasionally. Once lucid, dreamers report being able to influence the dream narrative, fly through dreamscapes, or explore imaginary worlds at will. Researchers confirmed that lucid dreaming is a genuine phenomenon, with brain scans showing unique patterns of activity during lucid REM sleep. For some, lucid dreaming offers a playground for creativity, while for others it provides a way to confront fears or rehearse skills in a vivid, immersive environment. Dream journaling makes dreams easier to recall. One of the simplest and most effective ways to improve dream recall is to keep a dream journal by your bedside and write down whatever you remember immediately upon waking. The act of recording dreams signals to the brain that these experiences are worth remembering, gradually strengthening the memory pathways involved. Over time, many people find that they recall more dreams, in greater detail, simply by maintaining this practice. The journal can capture not only narratives but also emotions, colors, sounds, and sensations, building a rich archive of one's inner nocturnal life. Some researchers suggest that improved dream recall can lead to greater self-awareness and even facilitate lucid dreaming. The key is consistency, making the effort to write even fragmentary impressions before they fade. A dream journal becomes a window into the otherwise hidden world of sleep, revealing patterns, themes, and perhaps insights that would otherwise be lost forever. Dreams can be influenced by sounds in the room. External sounds that occur while you are asleep can sometimes be woven into the fabric of your dreams, a phenomenon known as incorporation. A ringing alarm clock might become a telephone in your dream, or the sound of rain outside could transform into a waterfall within your dreamscape. This happens because the sleeping brain remains partially aware of its environment, processing sensory input and integrating it into ongoing dream narratives. Studies have shown that playing certain sounds during sleep can bias dream content, though the effect is subtle and not always consistent. This permeability between the external world and the dream world has practical implications. For example, some apps attempt to guide dreams by playing soft cues during REM sleep. However, loud or sudden noises are more likely to wake the sleeper than to become part of a dream. The fact that dreams can absorb outside sounds highlights the creative, responsive nature of the dreaming brain. Lucid dreaming allows you to realize you are dreaming while inside the dream. Lucid dreaming is a unique state of consciousness in which the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming without waking up. This awareness can range from a fleeting recognition to full, sustained clarity that allows the dreamer to observe, interact with, and even control the dream environment. Scientists have verified lucid dreaming by having participants signal from within dreams using pre-agreed eye movements, which can be detected on measuring equipment. During lucid dreams, parts of the brain associated with self-awareness and executive function become more active than in typical REM sleep. Some people use lucid dreaming as a tool for personal exploration, creative work, or even practicing real-world skills in a risk-free setting. Others simply enjoy the sense of freedom and wonder that comes from navigating fantastical dreamscapes with full awareness. Though not everyone achieves lucid dreams easily, interest in this phenomenon has grown as research continues to reveal its remarkable potential. REM sleep is when most vivid dreaming happens. Rapid eye movement sleep, or REM, is the stage of sleep most strongly associated with dreaming. During REM, the brain becomes highly active, approaching levels of activity seen during wakefulness, while the eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids. It is in this stage that dreams tend to be most vivid, emotionally intense, and narratively complex. REM sleep typically occurs in cycles throughout the night, with each episode growing longer as morning approaches. The content of REM dreams often includes bizarre scenarios, shifting locations, and characters drawn from memory and imagination. Scientists believe REM sleep plays important roles in emotional regulation, memory consolidation, and creative problem-solving. While dreams can occur in other stages of sleep, they tend to be more fragmented and less memorable than those experienced during REM. The strange, immersive quality of REM dreams has fascinated researchers and dreamers alike, making this stage a central focus of modern sleep science. Your muscles become paralyzed during REM sleep. During REM sleep, the brain sends signals that temporarily paralyze most of the body's voluntary muscles, a phenomenon known as REM atonia. This paralysis is thought to be a protective mechanism, preventing the sleeper from physically acting out their dreams and potentially injuring themselves or others. Only the muscles controlling breathing and eye movement remain active during this stage. The paralysis is so complete that if you were awakened abruptly during REM, you might briefly experience sleep paralysis, a frightening but harmless sensation of being unable to move. In rare cases, the mechanism that causes REM atonia fails, leading to REM sleep behavior disorder, where people physically act out dreams, sometimes with violent movements. The evolutionary advantage of this paralysis is clear. It allows the brain to engage in vivid dream activity, without the body responding to every imagined action. This nightly stillness is one of sleep's many protective mechanisms, keeping us safe as we journey through the landscapes of dreams. Babies spend half their sleep in REM. Newborn infants spend approximately 50% of their sleep time in REM, compared to about 20 to 25% in adults. This high proportion of REM sleep is believed to be essential for the rapid brain development occurring during the first months of life. During REM, neural connections are formed and strengthened, supporting the growth of sensory, motor, and cognitive systems. As children grow older, the proportion of REM sleep gradually decreases, settling into adult patterns by adolescence. The intense dreaming activity in infants may help process the flood of new sensory information they experience each day. Some researchers suggest that the movements and facial expressions seen in sleeping babies, such as smiles and twitches, reflect the rich dream activity happening inside their developing minds. The abundance of REM sleep in infancy underscores how critical this stage is for laying the neural foundations that will support learning and memory throughout life. The platypus has more REM sleep than any other mammal. The platypus, that peculiar egg-laying mammal from Australia, holds the record for the highest amount of REM sleep of any mammal studied. Platypuses can spend up to 8 hours a day in REM sleep, far more than any other known species. Scientists are still unsure why this semi-aquatic animal requires so much REM, but it has prompted fascinating speculation about the evolution and function of dreaming. Some researchers suggest that because the platypus is evolutionarily ancient, its REM patterns may reflect an early stage in the development of mammalian sleep. Others wonder whether its unusual lifestyle, hunting underwater with electroreceptors on its bill, places unique demands on its brain that require extensive REM processing. Whatever the reason, the platypus serves as a reminder that sleep patterns vary enormously across the animal kingdom. Studying such outliers helps scientists understand the diverse purposes that REM sleep may serve in different species. Sleep deprivation causes emotional instability by disrupting REM. REM sleep plays a vital role in regulating emotions, and when it is disrupted or curtailed, emotional stability suffers. Studies have shown that people deprived of REM sleep become more irritable, anxious, and prone to negative emotional reactions. The brain uses REM sleep to process and integrate the emotional experiences of the day, stripping away some of the intensity while preserving the memory. Without this overnight emotional processing, stressful events feel more raw and harder to cope with. Brain imaging reveals that REM deprivation leads to heightened activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear and emotion center, making people more reactive to even minor stresses. Over time, chronic REM disruption has been linked to mood disorders, such as depression and anxiety. Protecting REM sleep is therefore essential not just for physical health, but for maintaining the emotional balance and resilience that allow us to face daily challenges with grace. Deep sleep helps repair your muscles. Deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep, is the stage during which the body focuses on physical restoration and repair. During these profound slumber periods, blood flow to the muscles increases, while metabolic activity in the brain decreases. This is the time when tissues damaged by exercise or daily wear are actively repaired, supported by increased secretion of growth hormone. Athletes and physically active individuals especially benefit from adequate deep sleep, as it directly affects recovery and performance. Without enough deep sleep, muscles may not fully recover, leading to fatigue, weakness, and increased risk of injury. The body essentially uses this nightly window to perform maintenance that cannot occur efficiently during waking hours, when resources are directed elsewhere. Deep sleep deprivation has been linked to slower healing from injuries and prolonged muscle soreness after exertion. Prioritizing deep sleep through good sleep hygiene is therefore essential for anyone seeking optimal physical health and recovery. You release growth hormone during deep sleep. The majority of human growth hormone is released during deep sleep, making this stage essential for growth, tissue repair, and metabolism. Growth hormone stimulates protein synthesis, promotes the breakdown of fat stores for energy, and supports the maintenance of healthy body composition. In children and adolescents, adequate deep sleep is critical for normal physical development, while in adults it continues to support tissue maintenance and recovery from daily wear. Disruptions to deep sleep, whether from stress, sleep disorders, or poor sleep habits, can significantly reduce growth hormone secretion. This has implications not only for physical recovery, but also for metabolism and even skin health. Studies have shown that people who consistently get insufficient deep sleep tend to have higher body fat percentages and lower muscle mass. The deep sleep stage thus serves as a nightly restoration period during which the body's growth and repair systems are at their most active. Your heartbeat slows dramatically in deep sleep. During deep sleep, the cardiovascular system enters a state of profound relaxation. Heart rate drops to its lowest nightly levels, often falling significantly below waking resting rates. Blood pressure also decreases, giving the heart and blood vessels a much-needed period of reduced workload. This cardiovascular slowdown is thought to be essential for long-term heart health, allowing the circulatory system to recover from the demands of daytime activity. People who consistently get insufficient deep sleep tend to have elevated blood pressure and increased risk of heart disease over time. The body uses this period of calm to repair blood vessels and regulate processes that control inflammation. Deep sleep is thus not just important for the brain but also for the entire cardiovascular system. Protecting this restorative stage of sleep is one of the simplest ways to support a healthy heart for years to come. Body temperature drops when you fall asleep. As you transition from wakefulness into sleep, your body temperature begins to decline, reaching its lowest point during the deep stages of the night. This drop in core temperature is a natural part of the sleep process, regulated by the circadian rhythm and the brain's internal thermostat in the hypothalamus. Cooler body temperatures are associated with deeper, more restorative sleep, which is why sleeping in a slightly cool room often improves sleep quality. The drop in temperature helps conserve energy and may facilitate some of the cellular repair processes that occur during sleep. Conversely, temperatures that are too warm can disrupt sleep and reduce the amount of time spent in deep stages. Some people experience night sweats or wake up hot because of disruptions to this normal temperature regulation. Understanding the natural cooling that accompanies sleep can help people optimize their sleeping environment for better rest. Your body repairs DNA while you sleep. During sleep, particularly during deep sleep, the body engages in extensive cellular repair, including the repair of DNA damage accumulated during the day. Exposure to environmental stressors such as ultraviolet radiation, oxidative stress, and metabolic byproducts causes constant low-level damage to DNA in cells throughout the body. Sleep provides a window during which cellular repair mechanisms work more efficiently, patching up this damage and helping to maintain genomic integrity. Research has shown that sleep deprivation impairs DNA repair processes, leading to increased accumulation of genetic damage over time. This has implications for long-term health, as unrepaired DNA damage is linked to aging and increased cancer risk. Neurons in the brain appear to be especially reliant on sleep for maintaining healthy DNA. By prioritizing adequate sleep each night, you give your body the time it needs to perform this essential maintenance at the cellular level. Sleep cycles last about 90 minutes. A typical night of sleep consists of several cycles, each lasting approximately 90 minutes. Within each cycle, the sleeper progresses through different stages, from light sleep to deep sleep, and then into REM sleep, before the pattern repeats. The 90-minute duration is remarkably consistent across most healthy adults, though it can vary slightly from person to person. Understanding this cycle length has practical implications, as waking at the end of a cycle rather than in the middle tends to leave you feeling more refreshed. Some people use this knowledge to time their alarms, aiming to wake after 4, 5, or 6 complete cycles, rather than at arbitrary times. The structure of sleep cycles ensures that the brain and body receive both the deep restorative sleep and the REM processing they need each night. Over the course of the night, the balance shifts, with more deep sleep early on and longer REM periods toward morning. This elegant architecture reflects millions of years of evolutionary refinement. You go through about 5 sleep cycles each night. During a typical 7 to 8 hour night of sleep, most adults cycle through roughly 5 complete sleep cycles. Each cycle takes the sleeper from light sleep through deep sleep and into REM, completing the full journey approximately every 90 minutes. The first cycles tend to be dominated by deep sleep, which is essential for physical restoration and growth hormone release. As the night progresses, the proportion of REM sleep in each cycle increases, giving the brain more time for dreaming and emotional processing. Missing out on a full night's rest means fewer complete cycles and less time in the later REM-heavy periods. This is one reason why truncated sleep often leaves people feeling mentally foggy, even if physical tiredness is manageable. The 5-cycle structure ensures a balance between the body's need for physical repair and the brain's need for cognitive and emotional maintenance. Protecting this full cycle count is essential for optimal well-being. The proportion of REM sleep increases toward morning. As the night progresses, the structure of sleep cycles shifts significantly. Early cycles contain longer periods of deep sleep and shorter bursts of REM. But by the final cycles before waking, REM dominates, and deep sleep becomes minimal. This means that the last few hours of sleep are particularly rich in dreaming, which is why vivid dreams are often remembered from the period just before waking. The shift toward REM may serve important functions in emotional regulation and memory consolidation that build on the physical restoration accomplished earlier in the night. Cutting sleep short in the morning therefore disproportionately reduces REM time, potentially affecting mood and cognitive performance during the day. People who consistently wake earlier than their natural rhythm may miss out on significant amounts of dream sleep. Understanding this pattern highlights the importance of protecting the full duration of sleep, especially the precious REM-rich hours before dawn. Deep sleep dominates the early part of the night. The architecture of sleep is such that deep sleep, or slow-wave sleep, is concentrated in the first few cycles after falling asleep. During this period, the brain produces large, slow electrical waves that reflect its deeply restorative state. This early dominance of deep sleep ensures that the body gets the physical restoration it needs most urgently, with growth hormone release, tissue repair, and immune function all peaking during these hours. As the night wears on, deep sleep becomes shorter and less frequent, giving way to more REM and lighter sleep stages. If sleep is cut short from the beginning, as in delayed bedtimes, the proportion of deep sleep obtained may still be adequate, but REM will suffer. Conversely, disruptions early in the night can severely impact restorative deep sleep. The natural ordering of sleep stages reflects the body's priorities, attending first to physical needs before turning to the emotional and cognitive processing that characterizes REM. Waking mid-cycle often leaves you feeling groggy. If you have ever been jolted awake by an alarm and felt disoriented or sluggish, you may have been woken in the middle of a sleep cycle. This grogginess, known as sleep inertia, occurs when the brain is abruptly pulled from deep or REM sleep before completing its natural transition to lighter stages. Waking at the end of a cycle, when sleep is naturally lighter, tends to result in a more alert and refreshed feeling. Some people use smart alarms or sleep tracking devices that aim to detect lighter sleep phases and wake them at optimal moments within a set window. Sleep inertia can last from a few minutes to over half an hour, impairing cognition and reaction times during this vulnerable period. Understanding sleep cycles can help people plan their sleep and wake times for better mornings. While it is not always possible to wake at the perfect moment, aligning your sleep schedule with natural cycle lengths improves the odds of waking refreshed. Dolphins sleep with half their brain awake. Dolphins and several other marine mammals have evolved a remarkable ability called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, in which one half of the brain sleeps while the other remains awake and alert. This adaptation allows dolphins to continue swimming, surface for air, and watch for predators even while resting. The two hemispheres take turns sleeping, ensuring that the animal is never fully unconscious. During this half-sleep state, the eye on the opposite side of the awake hemisphere remains open, scanning the environment for threats or opportunities. This form of sleep is essential for survival in an ocean, where remaining motionless would mean sinking or becoming vulnerable to predators. Scientists have observed similar adaptations in some migratory birds and other aquatic species. The dolphin's split sleep is a vivid example of how evolution has shaped rest to fit the unique demands of different environments and lifestyles. Some migratory birds sleep on the wing for days. Certain species of migratory birds can remain airborne for weeks or even months, raising the question of how they manage to sleep during such epic journeys. Research has shown that some birds engage in brief episodes of sleep while flying, resting one hemisphere of the brain at a time, much like dolphins do in the ocean. These microsleeps last only seconds, but appear to provide enough rest to sustain the bird through its migration. Frigate birds, for example, have been recorded sleeping for mere minutes per day during transoceanic flights, far less than they would sleep on land. The ability to sleep on the wing is a remarkable adaptation that allows birds to cross vast distances without the risk of landing in dangerous or unsuitable locations. This aerial sleep is typically lighter and more fragmented than ground sleep, but it is sufficient for survival. The evolution of sleep in flight demonstrates the extraordinary flexibility of rest mechanisms across the animal kingdom. Giraffes sleep less than 2 hours a day. Giraffes are among the shortest sleepers in the animal kingdom, typically resting for only about 30 minutes to 2 hours per day, often in brief naps of just a few minutes at a time. Their long legs and necks make lying down and getting up both awkward and risky, leaving them vulnerable to predators on the African savanna. As a result, giraffes have evolved to minimize the time spent in deep sleep, compensating with quick, light naps taken while standing or occasionally lying down. Despite their minimal sleep, giraffes appear to function well, suggesting their brains and bodies are adapted to this pattern. Scientists speculate that prey animals in general tend to sleep less than predators because the costs of deep sleep vulnerability outweigh the benefits in dangerous environments. The giraffe's minimal sleep is a striking example of how ecological pressures shape the sleep needs of different species. Yet even with such short rest periods, some sleep remains essential for their survival. Cats sleep up to 16 hours daily. Cats are famously prolific sleepers, spending anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day in slumber, depending on their age and activity level. This extensive sleep is an evolutionary inheritance from their wild ancestors, who needed to conserve energy between hunts. Hunting is an energy-intensive activity, and in the wild, cats cannot rely on catching prey every time, so they evolved to rest as much as possible when not actively seeking food. Domestic cats retain this drive to sleep, even though their meals are reliably provided. Much of feline sleep consists of light dozing, from which cats can awaken instantly at the slightest disturbance. However, they also experience periods of deep sleep and REM, during which their whiskers and paws may twitch as they dream. The catnap is more than a stereotype. It is a window into the sleep strategies of apex predators, adapted for brief bursts of intense activity. Dogs twitch in their sleep because they are dreaming. If you have ever watched a sleeping dog paddle its legs, whimper, or twitch its nose, you have likely witnessed a dream in progress. Dogs, like humans, experience REM sleep, during which vivid dreams occur. The brain is highly active during REM, and despite the normal muscle paralysis of this stage, small movements often leak through, especially in puppies and older dogs. Studies recording brain activity in sleeping dogs have shown patterns that closely mirror those seen during waking activities, suggesting dogs may be replaying experiences such as running, playing, or interacting with their owners. The content of dog dreams likely reflects their daily lives and relationships, though we can only infer this from their behavior and neural patterns. Seeing a dog twitch and run in its sleep is a charming reminder that we are not alone in the experience of dreaming. Our canine companions share this nightly journey into imagined worlds. Rats dream about running through mazes. Researchers have discovered that rats experience dreams in which they replay the mazes they navigated during the day. By recording neural activity in the hippocampus, the brain region responsible for spatial memory, scientists found that the same patterns of firing that occurred while rats ran through mazes were replayed during subsequent sleep. This replay is thought to help consolidate memories and solidify the spatial learning acquired during waking hours. The firing patterns were so precise that researchers could determine which part of the maze the rat was dreaming about at any given moment. This finding suggests that dreaming is not unique to humans but is a widespread phenomenon in mammals, serving important cognitive functions. Rats dream of mazes the way humans might dream of their daily experiences, processing and integrating new information. The discovery that rodents dream has opened new avenues for understanding how sleep supports learning across species. Sleep boosts your immune system. A good night's sleep is one of the most effective ways to support your body's natural defenses against illness. During sleep, the immune system releases proteins called cytokines, some of which help promote sleep while others are needed to fight infection or inflammation. Sleep deprivation reduces the production of these protective cytokines and also decreases the levels of infection-fighting antibodies and cells. Studies have shown that people who do not get enough quality sleep are more susceptible to catching common illnesses such as colds and flu. The relationship between sleep and immunity is bidirectional, as getting sick often increases the need for sleep, allowing the body to marshal its defenses more effectively. Even a single night of poor sleep can temporarily reduce immune function, making you more vulnerable to pathogens encountered the following day. Prioritizing consistent, restorative sleep is therefore one of the simplest strategies for staying healthy throughout the year. People who sleep less are more likely to get sick. Research consistently shows a strong link between sleep duration and susceptibility to illness. In one well-known study, participants who slept less than 7 hours per night were nearly 3 times more likely to develop a cold after exposure to a virus compared to those who slept 8 hours or more. This is because sleep deprivation weakens the immune system's ability to respond to pathogens and slows the production of protective antibodies. Chronic short sleep has also been associated with increased risk of more serious conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. The immune system relies on the restorative processes that occur during sleep to maintain its strength and readiness. When sleep is consistently inadequate, the body's defenses operate at reduced capacity, making every encounter with germs more dangerous. Ensuring adequate sleep is thus a fundamental pillar of preventive health. Sleep helps regulate your appetite. The hormones that control hunger and satiety are deeply influenced by sleep. Leptin, which signals fullness to the brain, decreases when you do not get enough rest, while ghrelin, which stimulates appetite, increases. This hormonal imbalance makes sleep-deprived individuals feel hungrier and less satisfied after eating, often leading to overeating. Studies have found that even a few nights of insufficient sleep can significantly shift appetite hormones and increase cravings for calorie-dense foods. Beyond hormones, sleep deprivation impairs the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control, further weakening resistance to unhealthy food choices. The connection between sleep and appetite regulation helps explain why chronic sleep loss is associated with weight gain and obesity. Prioritizing sleep is therefore not only good for energy and mood, but also for maintaining a healthy relationship with food. When you are sleep deprived, you crave junk food. Sleep deprivation has a powerful effect on food preferences, specifically increasing cravings for high-calorie, high-sugar, and high-fat foods. Brain imaging studies show that when people are sleep-deprived, the reward centers of the brain light up more intensely in response to images of unhealthy foods, while the prefrontal cortex, which helps regulate decisions, becomes less active. This neurological shift makes resisting temptation much harder and increases the likelihood of reaching for comfort foods. Evolutionary pressures may explain this pattern, as in early human history, sleeplessness often signaled danger or food scarcity, prompting the body to seek quick energy sources. In modern life, however, this mechanism works against us, contributing to poor dietary choices and weight gain. The sleep-deprived brain essentially prioritizes immediate gratification over long-term health. Recognizing this link can help people make more mindful food choices when they know they have not slept well. People who sleep less tend to weigh more. Numerous studies have found a consistent association between short sleep duration and higher body mass index, suggesting that inadequate sleep contributes to weight gain. This relationship is partially explained by the hormonal changes that make hungry people crave calorie-dense foods, and partially by reduced energy for physical activity when tired. Sleep deprivation also affects insulin sensitivity, impairing the body's ability to regulate blood sugar and store fat efficiently. Over time, chronic sleep restriction sets the stage for metabolic dysfunction that promotes obesity and related health problems. Even among children and adolescents, short sleep has been linked to increased rates of overweight and obesity. While sleep alone is not a cure for weight issues, overlooking its importance can undermine other efforts such as diet and exercise. Addressing sleep as part of a comprehensive approach to health often yields surprising benefits for body composition and overall well-being. Sleep can help protect against Alzheimer's disease. Research increasingly suggests that consistent, quality sleep may be one of the most important factors in protecting against Alzheimer's disease. The glymphatic system, which clears toxic waste products from the brain during sleep, removes beta-amyloid, the protein that accumulates in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. When sleep is disrupted or insufficient, this clearance process is impaired, allowing harmful proteins to build up over time. Studies have shown that people with chronic sleep problems have higher levels of amyloid deposits and are at increased risk of developing dementia. Even short-term sleep deprivation can lead to measurable increases in amyloid levels. While sleep alone cannot guarantee protection against Alzheimer's, it appears to be a critical component of brain maintenance that helps delay or prevent the disease. Prioritizing good sleep throughout life may be one of the simplest and most effective strategies for supporting long-term cognitive health. People who sleep poorly show faster brain aging. Chronic poor sleep is associated with accelerated brain aging, with studies showing that sleep-deprived individuals exhibit structural changes in the brain that resemble those seen in older adults. Brain imaging reveals that people who consistently get less or lower quality sleep tend to have reduced gray matter volume and faster deterioration of white matter integrity. These changes are linked to declines in cognitive function, including memory, attention, and processing speed. The brain relies on sleep for maintenance and repair, and when this restorative time is cut short, the effects accumulate over years. Some research suggests that each additional year of poor sleep is associated with measurable cognitive decline. The good news is that improving sleep habits can help slow or partially reverse some of these changes. Investing in sleep is investing in the long-term health of your brain. Sleep stabilizes your emotional experiences. Sleep plays a vital role in regulating emotions, helping to smooth out the highs and lows of daily life. During REM sleep in particular, the brain processes emotional memories in a way that reduces their intensity, allowing us to wake with a more balanced perspective. Studies have shown that people who sleep well are better able to cope with stress, maintain positive moods, and respond to challenges without becoming overwhelmed. Sleep deprivation, on the other hand, amplifies emotional reactivity, making minor frustrations feel much larger than they are. The amygdala, the brain's emotional center, becomes hyperactive when sleep is insufficient, while the prefrontal cortex, which regulates emotional responses, becomes less effective. This imbalance leaves sleep-deprived individuals more vulnerable to anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. Adequate sleep is thus essential not only for physical health, but for maintaining emotional equilibrium. People deprived of REM sleep become more aggressive. REM sleep deprivation has been linked to increased irritability and aggression in both animal and human studies. When the brain is denied the emotional processing that occurs during REM, negative emotions become harder to regulate, and the threshold for aggressive responses lowers. In laboratory experiments, subjects selectively deprived of REM sleep while being allowed other sleep stages showed heightened sensitivity to perceived threats and greater hostility in their interactions. REM sleep appears to act as a kind of overnight therapy, dulling the emotional edge of difficult experiences and preparing us to face the next day with patience and composure. Without this reset, anger and frustration build up more readily, and social interactions suffer. The link between REM and aggression underscores the importance of protecting this particular stage of sleep. A good night of dreaming is not just pleasant, but essential for peaceable living. Sleep-deprived people become riskier decision-makers. Sleep deprivation impairs judgment and increases the tendency to take risks, even when the stakes are high. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for evaluating consequences and exercising impulse control, is among the first brain regions to suffer when sleep is lacking. Studies using gambling tasks have shown that tired individuals make riskier bets and are less sensitive to potential losses. This impairment can have real-world consequences, contributing to poor financial decisions, dangerous driving, and other hazardous behaviors. Sleep-deprived people often overestimate potential rewards while underestimating risks, a cognitive bias that can lead to serious mistakes. The effect is compounded by a lack of self-awareness, as tired individuals frequently do not realize how compromised their judgment has become. Ensuring adequate sleep before important decisions is a simple but powerful safeguard against regrettable choices. Sleep strengthens learning in ways waking practice cannot. While practice during waking hours is essential for acquiring new skills, sleep adds something that further repetition cannot. During sleep, the brain replays and consolidates new learning, strengthening the neural connections that encode recently acquired information. Studies have shown that people who sleep after learning perform significantly better on tests of the same material than those who remain awake for the same period. This sleep-dependent enhancement is especially pronounced for motor skills, language learning, and procedural knowledge. The brain appears to take advantage of the reduced sensory input during sleep to focus on integrating new information with existing memories. Sleep also helps filter out irrelevant details, leaving behind a clearer, more useful representation of what was learned. For students, musicians, athletes, and anyone seeking to master a skill, a good night's sleep is as important as the practice itself. Sleep helps babies learn language. Infants are language learning machines, and sleep plays a crucial role in this remarkable process. Studies have shown that babies who nap after being exposed to new words or speech patterns remember them better than those who stay awake. During sleep, the infant brain consolidates the complex auditory patterns of language, strengthening the neural connections that will support speech and comprehension. This is one reason why babies sleep so much. Their brains are working overtime to make sense of the flood of linguistic input they receive each day. Sleep also helps infants generalize from specific examples, allowing them to recognize words in different voices or contexts. The association between sleep and language development begins in the earliest months of life and continues through childhood. Ensuring that babies and toddlers get adequate sleep supports not only their immediate learning, but their long-term linguistic abilities. Adolescents who sleep more perform better academically. Numerous studies have demonstrated a clear link between sleep duration and academic performance in teenagers. Adolescents who get adequate sleep, generally 8 to 10 hours per night, tend to achieve higher grades, better test scores, and improved concentration in class. Sleep deprivation, which is rampant among teenagers due to early school start times and social pressures, impairs memory consolidation, attention, and problem-solving ability. The teenage brain is still developing, making it particularly vulnerable to the cognitive effects of insufficient rest. Schools that have experimented with later start times often report improvements in both attendance and academic outcomes. Beyond grades, well-rested teens show better emotional regulation and lower rates of anxiety and depression. Supporting healthy sleep habits in adolescence lays a foundation for success that extends well beyond the classroom. Your brain is more creative after dreaming. Dreaming appears to enhance creative thinking by allowing the brain to make unexpected connections between disparate ideas. During REM sleep, the brain's associative networks are loosened, permitting combinations of memories and concepts that would be filtered out during waking thought. This may explain why many artists, writers, and scientists have reported breakthrough ideas arriving in dreams or upon waking. Studies have shown that people who wake from REM sleep perform better on tasks requiring creative problem-solving than those woken from other stages. The bizarre, logic-defying quality of dreams may be precisely what makes them useful for creativity, as they bypass the constraints of ordinary reasoning. Morning may therefore be an especially potent time for creative work, when the residue of dreams is fresh in the mind. Embracing sleep as part of the creative process, rather than sacrificing it for extra work hours, can yield surprising benefits. A 20-minute nap can improve learning. A brief nap of around 20 minutes can provide a significant boost to cognitive function, improving alertness, memory, and learning capacity. Short naps are long enough to enter the lighter stages of sleep, which offer restorative benefits without the grogginess that can accompany deeper sleep. Studies have found that napping after learning helps consolidate new information, making it more resistant to forgetting. Even a brief rest during the day can improve performance on tasks requiring focus and creativity. The key is to keep naps short enough to avoid entering deep sleep, which can leave you feeling disoriented upon waking. For students, professionals, or anyone facing a demanding afternoon, a quick nap can reset the brain and enhance productivity. The power of the short nap is a reminder that rest need not be lengthy to be valuable. People who nap often live longer. Epidemiological studies have suggested a link between regular napping and increased longevity, particularly in cultures where the afternoon rest is a long-standing tradition. Research from countries around the Mediterranean, where siestas are common, has found lower rates of heart disease and overall mortality among habitual nappers. Napping may reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and give the cardiovascular system a much-needed break during the day. The relationship appears strongest for moderate napping, about 20 to 30 minutes a few times per week, rather than long daily sleeps which may indicate underlying health issues. Of course, napping alone is not a fountain of youth, but it may be a marker of healthy cultural attitudes toward rest and recovery. In societies that prioritize productivity over rest, the longevity benefits of napping offer a compelling argument for reconsidering our approach to daytime sleep. A brief afternoon rest could be one of the simplest investments in a longer, healthier life. Longer naps can leave you feeling groggy. While naps can be refreshing, sleeping too long during the day often leads to sleep inertia, a period of grogginess and impaired performance that follows waking from deeper sleep stages. Naps lasting longer than about 30 minutes are more likely to include slow-wave deep sleep, which is harder to wake from and leaves the sleeper feeling disoriented. This grogginess can last from several minutes to over half an hour, depending on the depth of sleep reached and the individual's sensitivity. For this reason, sleep experts often recommend keeping daytime naps short, ideally under 20 to 30 minutes, to capture the benefits of rest without the drawbacks. Longer naps can also interfere with nighttime sleep, making it harder to fall asleep at bedtime and disrupting overall sleep quality. Understanding the trade-offs between nap length and alertness helps people optimize their daytime rest. A quick catnap is often more restorative than a lengthy slumber. The siesta is an ancient human tradition. The practice of taking an afternoon rest, commonly known as the siesta, has roots stretching back thousands of years across many cultures. In Mediterranean countries, Latin America, and parts of Asia, the midday pause for rest and sometimes sleep has long been woven into daily life. The tradition may have originated as a practical response to the hottest part of the day, when work in fields or streets became uncomfortable or even dangerous. Historical records suggest that the ancient Romans observed a similar custom, taking a break around the 6th hour of the day, which in Latin became the origin of the word siesta. While modern industrialized societies have largely abandoned the practice, there is growing recognition that a brief midday rest aligns with natural circadian dips in alertness. The enduring appeal of the siesta across so many cultures suggests it fulfills a genuine biological need. Reviving this tradition, even in abbreviated form, could benefit health and productivity in the modern world. Afternoon naps align with natural circadian rhythms. The human body's circadian rhythm includes a natural dip in alertness during the early to mid-afternoon, typically between 1 and 3 o'clock. This post-lunch dip is not merely a result of eating, though heavy meals can exacerbate it, but reflects an intrinsic oscillation in the biological clock. Taking a nap during this window aligns with the body's natural tendency toward rest, and can be more refreshing than napping at other times. The afternoon dip is thought to be a remnant of a biphasic sleep pattern that may have been common among our ancestors before the advent of artificial lighting. Fighting this natural drowsiness with caffeine or willpower can be counterproductive, leading to decreased productivity and increased errors. Embracing a short nap during this period can reset alertness and improve performance for the rest of the day. The siesta and similar traditions acknowledge what our biology has known all along. Olympians sometimes nap before competing. Many elite athletes incorporate napping into their training and competition routines, recognizing the performance benefits that a short rest can provide. A pre-competition nap can help consolidate motor learning, restore energy reserves, and sharpen reaction times in ways that translate directly to better results. Studies have shown that athletes who nap experience improvements in speed, strength, and accuracy compared to those who remain awake. For Olympians, where victory can be measured in fractions of a second, every legal advantage matters, and sleep is one of the most effective and natural performance enhancers available. Coaches and sports scientists increasingly view sleep as a critical component of training, not just passive recovery time but an active contributor to physical and mental readiness. Napping before an event can also reduce anxiety and help athletes enter a calm, focused state. The Olympic nap is a testament to the power of rest, even at the highest levels of human performance. Sleep improves athletic performance. Adequate sleep is one of the most powerful and underappreciated tools for enhancing athletic performance. During deep sleep, the body releases growth hormone, repairs muscle tissue, and restores glycogen stores depleted during exercise. Athletes who get sufficient sleep show improvements in reaction time, speed, accuracy, and endurance compared to those who are sleep-deprived. Studies on basketball players have found that extending sleep to 10 hours per night can significantly improve free throw shooting and sprint times. Sleep deprivation, by contrast, impairs coordination, delays reaction times, and increases the risk of injury. Beyond physical benefits, sleep enhances mental focus, decision-making, and the ability to handle competitive pressure. For anyone serious about athletic performance, whether at the elite level or recreationally, prioritizing sleep is as important as training and nutrition. Elite chess players nap to refresh their strategy. Chess is a game of intense mental endurance, and elite players have long recognized the value of napping to maintain peak cognitive performance during long tournaments. Matches can stretch over hours, and even the slightest lapse in concentration can prove decisive. Napping between games or rounds helps clear mental fatigue, consolidate recently reviewed strategies, and restore the focus needed for complex calculations. Grandmasters and world champions have been known to take carefully timed naps as part of their preparation and recovery routines. The cognitive demands of chess, including memory, pattern recognition, and planning, are all enhanced by adequate rest. Napping allows the brain to process information and reset, much like rebooting a computer. For chess players, the 20-minute nap is not a sign of laziness, but a sophisticated tool for gaining a competitive edge. Long-distance truckers nap to stay safe. For professional drivers who spend long hours on the road, fatigue is one of the most dangerous threats to safety. Regulatory bodies in many countries require mandatory rest periods for truckers, and many drivers take short naps during breaks to restore alertness. A brief nap of 15 to 30 minutes can significantly reduce the risk of microsleeps, those dangerous involuntary lapses into sleep that cause countless accidents each year. Trucking companies increasingly invest in education about the importance of rest and the dangers of driving while drowsy. Napping before or during a long haul can make the difference between arriving safely and becoming a statistic. The sleep-deprived brain loses the ability to accurately judge its own impairment, making regular rest especially important. For truckers and all long-distance drivers, the humble nap is a life-saving practice. Athletes who extend their sleep see measurable improvements. Studies have consistently shown that when athletes increase their sleep duration beyond their usual amount, performance improves across multiple domains. In one well-known study, college basketball players who extended their sleep to at least 10 hours per night for several weeks showed significant gains in sprint speed, free throw accuracy, and reaction time. Similar findings have been reported in swimmers, tennis players, and football athletes. The improvements are thought to result from enhanced physical recovery, better memory consolidation of skills, and improved focus. Extending sleep may be especially beneficial during intense training periods when the body and brain are under extra stress. While getting more sleep is not always practical, these findings suggest that many athletes are chronically underslept and would benefit from prioritizing rest. For those seeking to reach their athletic potential, sleep extension is a simple yet powerful intervention. Teens naturally fall asleep later than adults. During adolescence, the circadian rhythm shifts forward, causing teenagers to naturally feel sleepy later in the evening and want to wake later in the morning. This shift, known as a delayed sleep phase, is driven by changes in melatonin secretion and is a normal part of development, not mere laziness or defiance. The result is that many teenagers struggle to fall asleep at the early bedtimes expected of them and find it extremely difficult to wake for early school starts. This mismatch between biology and social schedules leads to chronic sleep deprivation among adolescents, with consequences for health, mood, and academic performance. Many sleep experts advocate for later school start times to align better with teenage biology. Understanding that this shift is physiological rather than behavioral can help parents and educators respond with understanding rather than frustration. The teenage brain simply runs on a different schedule for a while. Sleeping in total darkness helps regulate your body clock. Exposure to light is the most powerful signal governing the circadian rhythm, and sleeping in complete darkness helps keep the body's internal clock running smoothly. Even small amounts of light during sleep can disrupt melatonin production and interfere with the quality of rest. Studies have shown that people who sleep in darker rooms tend to have more regular sleep patterns and better overall sleep quality. The rise of artificial lighting and screens has made it harder to maintain darkness at night, contributing to widespread circadian disruption. Blackout curtains, eye masks, and removing electronic devices from the bedroom can all help create a darker sleeping environment. The brain uses darkness as a signal that it is time to sleep, reinforcing the natural rise of melatonin. Prioritizing darkness at night is one of the simplest and most effective steps for improving sleep. Light exposure at night disrupts your sleep. Artificial light at night, especially the blue-enriched light from screens, suppresses melatonin production and delays the onset of sleepiness. This disruption of the circadian rhythm makes it harder to fall asleep, reduces sleep quality, and can shift the timing of the body clock. Even dim light in the bedroom has been associated with poorer sleep and increased risk of metabolic disorders. The problem is especially pronounced with the widespread use of smartphones, tablets, and computers in the hours before bed. The brain interprets light as a signal to stay awake, overriding the natural drive towards sleep. Limiting screen time before bed, using blue light filters, and keeping bedrooms dark can all help mitigate these effects. In a world saturated with artificial illumination, protecting nighttime darkness has become an important aspect of sleep hygiene. People who live near the poles adapt to months of darkness and light. In far northern and southern latitudes, the sun may not set for months in summer or rise for months in winter, posing unique challenges for human sleep. Remarkably, people living in these regions have developed cultural and behavioral adaptations to cope with extreme variations in daylight. Heavy curtains, artificial lighting schedules, and strict sleep routines help maintain circadian stability, even when natural light cues are absent or overwhelming. Research has shown that Arctic and Antarctic residents often experience disrupted sleep during the transition seasons and require deliberate effort to maintain healthy rhythms. Some communities use lightboxes during the long polar night to simulate the effects of morning sunlight and reset their internal clocks. The adaptability of humans to these extreme conditions speaks to the flexibility of our circadian systems, though not without effort. Living near the poles is a testament to how profoundly light and darkness shape the experience of sleep. Jet lag is your body clock adjusting to new light. Jet lag is the uncomfortable experience of having your internal circadian rhythm out of sync with the local time after crossing multiple time zones. The symptoms, which include fatigue, insomnia, digestive issues, and difficulty concentrating, arise because the body's master clock takes time to adjust to the new cycle of light and darkness. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, located in the brain's hypothalamus, uses light exposure to calibrate the circadian rhythm, and it can shift only about 1 hour per day under normal conditions. This means that a trip across 8 time zones may require a week or more to fully adjust. Strategies such as gradual pre-adjustment, exposure to bright light at the right times, and avoiding large meals at unusual hours can help speed the process. Jet lag is essentially a conflict between biology and modern travel, a reminder that our bodies are adapted to a world without aeroplanes. Respecting the body clock's need for gradual adjustment is the key to minimizing discomfort. Newborns can sleep up to 17 hours a day. In the first weeks of life, newborn babies may sleep as much as 16 to 17 hours per day, though rarely in continuous stretches. This extensive sleep is essential for the rapid brain development occurring during infancy, as neural connections form and strengthen at an astonishing rate. Newborn sleep is distributed across day and night, with no established circadian rhythm, which is why parents often experience fragmented nights. Over the first months, sleep gradually consolidates into longer periods, and the baby begins to distinguish between day and night. The high proportion of REM sleep in newborns is thought to support sensory processing, learning, and the maturation of brain regions involved in vision and motor control. While exhausting for caregivers, the newborn's need for so much sleep reflects the extraordinary demands of early development. Each hour of infant sleep is an investment in the brain architecture that will support a lifetime of learning. Nightmares are more common in children. Nightmares, those vivid, frightening dreams that can wake us in distress, are considerably more common in children than in adults. Most children experience occasional nightmares, and for some, they can be a frequent occurrence during early childhood. The prevalence of nightmares in young children is thought to be related to the high proportion of REM sleep and the developing brain's efforts to process new and sometimes overwhelming experiences. As children grow, and their emotional regulation and coping skills develop, the frequency of nightmares typically decreases. Nightmares are generally considered a normal part of childhood, and do not usually indicate a psychological problem. However, very frequent or particularly distressing nightmares can be addressed with reassurance, comforting bedtime routines, and, if needed, professional support. Understanding that nightmares are common can help parents respond calmly and supportively to their children's nocturnal fears. Sleepwalking is more common in children. Sleepwalking or somnambulism is a sleep disorder in which a person walks or performs complex behaviors while remaining asleep, and it is significantly more common in children than adults. It typically occurs during deep sleep in the first half of the night, and often runs in families, suggesting a genetic component. Most children who sleepwalk will outgrow the behavior by adolescence as their sleep patterns mature, Episodes can range from sitting up in bed to walking around the house, sometimes with eyes open but with no awareness or memory of the event. Sleepwalking is generally harmless, though precautions may be needed to prevent injury, such as securing windows and doors. Stress, sleep deprivation, and irregular sleep schedules can trigger or worsen sleepwalking episodes. For most children, sleepwalking is a transient phase rather than a lasting condition. Children's brains develop rapidly during sleep. Sleep is a critical period for brain development in children, as this is when much of the neural growth and reorganization occurs. During deep sleep and REM, the brain consolidates learning, strengthens synaptic connections, and prunes away unused pathways. The sheer volume of new information children absorb each day requires substantial processing, which is accomplished most efficiently during sleep. Studies have shown that children who get adequate sleep perform better on cognitive and memory tasks and show more stable emotional regulation. Sleep deprivation in childhood is associated with behavioral problems, learning difficulties, and even long-term impacts on brain structure. The importance of sleep for development is one reason why health guidelines recommend that children and adolescents get more sleep than adults. Protecting sleep in childhood is one of the most impactful investments parents can make in their children's futures. Insomnia affects up to 1/3 of adults. Insomnia, the difficulty of falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking too early, is one of the most common health complaints worldwide. Surveys suggest that as many as 1 in 3 adults experience symptoms of insomnia at some point in their lives, though chronic insomnia is less common. The causes of insomnia are varied, ranging from stress, anxiety, and depression, to medical conditions, medications, and poor sleep habits. The consequences extend beyond tiredness, affecting concentration, mood, immune function, and overall quality of life. Insomnia can become a self-perpetuating cycle, as worry about sleep worsens the ability to rest. Treatments include cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which has proven highly effective, as well as lifestyle changes and, when appropriate, medication. Recognizing insomnia as a widespread and treatable condition can encourage those who suffer from it to seek help, rather than simply enduring sleepless nights. Women report more insomnia than men. Studies consistently find that women are more likely than men to report symptoms of insomnia, though the reasons for this disparity are not entirely understood. Hormonal fluctuations related to menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause are thought to play a significant role in disrupting women's sleep. Women are also more prone to conditions such as anxiety and depression, which are closely linked to insomnia. Social factors, including caregiving responsibilities that fragment sleep and create stress, may also contribute to higher rates of insomnia among women. Interestingly, while women report more insomnia, some studies suggest that men's sleep quality declines more steeply with age. Awareness of the gender disparities in sleep health can help tailor prevention and treatment strategies. Regardless of gender, recognizing and addressing insomnia is essential for overall well-being. Sleep apnea interrupts breathing hundreds of times per night. Sleep apnea is a serious disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep, sometimes hundreds of times in a single night. The most common form, obstructive sleep apnea, occurs when the muscles in the throat relax and block the airway. Each pause in breathing can last from a few seconds to over a minute, causing oxygen levels to drop and triggering brief arousals that fragment sleep. People with sleep apnea often wake feeling unrefreshed despite spending adequate time in bed, and they may experience loud snoring, gasping, or choking during sleep. The condition is associated with increased risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Diagnosis typically involves a sleep study, and treatment options include continuous positive airway pressure therapy, oral appliances, and lifestyle changes such as weight loss. Left untreated, sleep apnea significantly impacts health and quality of life. Some people cannot stop falling asleep due to narcolepsy. Narcolepsy is a chronic neurological disorder that impairs the brain's ability to regulate sleep-wake cycles, leading to sudden and uncontrollable episodes of falling asleep during the day. People with narcolepsy may fall asleep at any time, even during activities such as eating, talking, or driving. The condition is thought to result from a loss of neurons that produce hypocretin, a neurotransmitter that helps maintain wakefulness. Along with excessive daytime sleepiness, narcolepsy can include symptoms such as cataplexy, a sudden loss of muscle tone triggered by strong emotions, sleep paralysis, and vivid hallucinations at the edges of sleep. Narcolepsy is relatively rare, but profoundly affects quality of life and safety. There is currently no cure, but symptoms can be managed with medication, scheduled naps, and lifestyle adjustments. Awareness of narcolepsy helps those affected seek proper diagnoses and support. Narcolepsy can make people dream instantly. One of the unusual features of narcolepsy is the tendency to enter REM sleep almost immediately upon falling asleep, rather than after the usual 90 minutes. This means that people with narcolepsy may begin dreaming within moments of closing their eyes, even during brief naps or sleep attacks. The rapid transition into REM can produce vivid, often disturbing dreams that are difficult to distinguish from reality. This phenomenon is related to the disruption of the normal sleep cycle architecture caused by the disorder. The early onset of REM also contributes to symptoms like sleep paralysis and hypnagogic hallucinations, where dream imagery intrudes into waking consciousness. For those with narcolepsy, the boundary between waking and dreaming is unusually porous and unpredictable. Understanding this aspect of the condition helps explain the strange and sometimes frightening experiences narcoleptic individuals may report. Sleep paralysis can cause waking dreams. Sleep paralysis is a temporary inability to move or speak that occurs when waking up or falling asleep, often accompanied by vivid and sometimes frightening hallucinations. During REM sleep, the brain naturally paralyzes most voluntary muscles to prevent us from acting out our dreams. Sometimes this paralysis persists briefly as we transition into or out of REM, leaving us conscious but unable to move. The accompanying hallucinations can include sensing a presence in the room, feeling pressure on the chest, or experiencing floating sensations. These so-called waking dreams have been reported across cultures and throughout history, giving rise to legends of night demons and supernatural visitations. The experience, while terrifying, is generally harmless and usually lasts only a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Understanding sleep paralysis can help alleviate the fear associated with it, reframing it as a quirk of the brain rather than a mysterious threat. REM sleep behavior disorder makes people act out dreams. In REM sleep behavior disorder, the normal paralysis that accompanies REM sleep is absent or incomplete, allowing people to physically act out their dreams. Movements can range from twitching and vocalizing to violent thrashing, punching, or jumping out of bed. This can result in injury to the dreamer or their bed partner, and may be the first clue that something is amiss. REM sleep behavior disorder is more common in older adults and has been associated with an increased risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases, such as Parkinson's. The disorder is thought to reflect dysfunction in the brainstem regions responsible for inducing REM atonia. Diagnosis is typically made through a sleep study that captures the absence of paralysis during REM. Treatment may include creating a safer sleep environment and medications that reduce dangerous movements during sleep. Some people eat in their sleep without knowing it. Sleep-related eating disorder is a condition in which people consume food during partial arousals from sleep, with little or no memory of the event. Episodes typically occur during non-REM sleep and may involve consuming unusual or even inedible substances. People with this disorder may wake to find evidence of their nocturnal eating, such as food wrappers or a messy kitchen, without recalling any of it. The condition can lead to weight gain, dietary complications, and even injuries from attempting to prepare food while not fully awake. Sleep-related eating disorder is more common in women and often occurs alongside other sleep disorders or the use of certain medications. Treatment may include addressing underlying conditions, adjusting medications, and in some cases, specific therapies targeting the behavior. For many, learning about this disorder brings relief and understanding to a puzzling experience. Sleep talking can happen in any stage of sleep. Sleep talking, or somniloquy, is the act of speaking during sleep without awareness of doing so. Unlike sleepwalking, which is confined to deep sleep, sleep talking can occur during any sleep stage, including both REM and non-REM periods. The content of sleep talk can range from gibberish and mumbling to coherent sentences and even conversations. Sometimes the speech relates to dreams, while other times it appears random or nonsensical. Sleep talking is common and generally harmless, though it can be embarrassing or disruptive if a bed partner is disturbed. Most people who talk in their sleep have no memory of it the next morning. The cause is not fully understood, but factors such as stress, sleep deprivation, fever, and alcohol consumption can increase the likelihood of an episode. Some people sing in their sleep. While most people have heard of sleep talking, a less common variant involves singing during sleep. People who sing in their sleep may hum tunes, sing fragments of songs, or vocalize melodies, all without any awareness or memory of doing so. Like sleep talking, sleep singing is considered a type of parasomnia and is generally harmless. It may occur during any stage of sleep, but is perhaps most striking when it happens during REM, when vivid dreams are in progress. The phenomenon can be amusing or disconcerting for bed partners but rarely requires treatment. In some cases, sleep singing may increase during periods of stress or when sleep routines are disrupted. Like other unusual sleep behaviors, it offers a glimpse into the mysterious nocturnal activity of the brain. Snoring can reach over 80 decibels. Snoring can be surprisingly loud, with some snorers reaching volumes exceeding 80 decibels, comparable to a vacuum cleaner or busy traffic. The sound is produced when air flows past relaxed tissues in the throat, causing them to vibrate as you breathe. While occasional, light snoring is common and usually harmless, chronic loud snoring can disrupt the sleep of bed partners and may indicate underlying health issues such as obstructive sleep apnea. The intensity of snoring is influenced by factors including body weight, alcohol consumption, sleeping position, and nasal congestion. Loud snoring has been known to strain relationships and can even disturb neighbors in adjacent rooms or apartments. Treatments range from positional therapy and nasal strips to more advanced interventions like oral appliances or surgery for severe cases. Recognizing that snoring can be seriously loud encourages both snorers and their partners to seek solutions for better sleep. Elephants snore too. Snoring is not a uniquely human experience, as many animals, including elephants, have been observed snoring during sleep. Elephants are among the shortest sleepers in the animal kingdom, resting only a few hours per night, often while standing, but when they do lie down for deeper rest, some produce audible snoring sounds. Like in humans, snoring in animals is caused by the vibration of relaxed tissues in the respiratory tract as air passes through during breathing. Observations of elephants sleeping in the wild have captured not only snoring but also other behaviors like twitching and leg movements, suggestive of dreaming. The fact that elephants snore reinforces the idea that the mechanics of sleep are shared across many species. Snoring in animals, as in humans, may be influenced by anatomy, age, and sleeping position. This charming quirk of nature reminds us of the commonalities we share with other creatures. Chronic snoring may signal underlying conditions. While occasional snoring is common and usually benign, chronic, loud snoring can be a warning sign of more serious health issues. Persistent snoring is one of the hallmark symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea, a condition in which the airway becomes repeatedly blocked during sleep, leading to fragmented rest and oxygen deprivation. Other conditions signaled by chronic snoring include obesity, nasal obstruction, and hypothyroidism. Untreated, these underlying issues can increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, stroke, and daytime fatigue. If snoring is accompanied by gasping, choking, or excessive daytime sleepiness, medical evaluation is advisable. Addressing the root cause of chronic snoring can dramatically improve sleep quality and overall health. Rather than dismissing persistent snoring as a mere annoyance, it is worth treating it as a cue to investigate deeper health concerns. Astronauts sleep strapped into bags so they do not float away. In the microgravity environment of space, there is no up or down, and without restraint, a sleeping astronaut would simply drift around the spacecraft. To prevent this, astronauts sleep in special sleeping bags that are tethered to the walls of the spacecraft or station. These bags keep them in place and provide a sense of enclosure that can help simulate the feeling of lying in bed. Some astronauts report that the experience of floating freely during sleep is disorienting, while others find it surprisingly comfortable once adjusted. The International Space Station provides small crew quarters where astronauts can zip into their sleeping bags, often attaching themselves near a fan for ventilation. Without the familiar sensations of a mattress supporting the body, some astronauts take time to adapt to weightless slumber. The logistics of sleeping in space are just one of many challenges that make life off Earth an extraordinary experience. Sleep in space is lighter and more easily disrupted. Astronauts often report that their sleep in space is lighter and less restful than sleep on Earth. Several factors contribute to this, including the absence of gravitational cues, constant background noise from life support systems, and the psychological stress of living in a confined, high-stakes environment. The lack of natural light-dark cycles, combined with frequent orbital sunrises and sunsets, further disrupts circadian rhythms. Studies have found that astronauts tend to get less sleep in space, averaging about 6 hours per night, compared to the recommended 7 to 8 hours on Earth. Sleep deprivation can impair cognitive performance, increase the risk of errors, and affect mood, all of which are critical concerns during space missions. To combat these challenges, agencies like NASA schedule sleep times carefully, provide eye masks and earplugs, and sometimes use medications to promote sleep. Improving sleep quality in space remains an important focus of space medicine research. The International Space Station experiences 16 sunrises each day. Because the International Space Station orbits the Earth roughly once every 90 minutes, astronauts on board witness 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets in a single 24-hour period. This extraordinary pace disrupts the natural light cues that help govern the human circadian rhythm. Without artificial scheduling and light management, astronauts' body clocks would quickly become confused, making it difficult to maintain healthy sleep patterns. The station uses carefully timed artificial lighting and blackout shades to simulate a normal day-night cycle for the crew. Despite these efforts, many astronauts report difficulty adjusting and experience sleep disturbances during their missions. The frequent sunrises highlight how dependent our biology is on the rhythms of a single planetary day. Adapting to this alien schedule is one of the many challenges of living beyond Earth. Napoleon famously slept very little. Napoleon Bonaparte is often cited as a historical example of a short sleeper, reportedly requiring only 4 to 6 hours of rest per night. Whether this was a natural trait or a product of his demanding schedule and wartime responsibilities is debated among historians. Napoleon himself was said to have claimed that men need 6 hours of sleep, boys 7, and only women and fools need 8. His short sleep may have given him additional hours to work, plan, and lead, though it is also possible he supplemented his nights with brief naps during the day. Some historians suggest that his later decline in decision-making and health may have been exacerbated by chronic sleep deprivation. The legend of Napoleon's minimal sleep has contributed to a cultural mythology that equates success with sleeping less. Modern science, however, cautions that most people cannot thrive on such limited rest. Leonardo da Vinci reportedly used polyphasic sleep. Leonardo da Vinci is said to have practiced a polyphasic sleep schedule, breaking his rest into multiple short naps throughout the day, rather than a single long sleep at night. According to legend, he slept for only 15 to 20 minutes every 4 hours, totaling about 2 hours of sleep per day. This extreme schedule, sometimes called the Uberman cycle, would theoretically free up more waking hours for work and creativity. However, there is little reliable historical evidence to confirm whether Leonardo actually followed this pattern, and modern sleep science suggests that such severe sleep restriction would be unsustainable for most people. The myth persists as an example of genius rising above normal human limitations. Whether fact or fiction, the story of Da Vinci's sleep habits reflects our enduring fascination with the relationship between rest and creativity. Most experts recommend against attempting such extreme sleep reduction. Thomas Edison called sleep a waste of time. The inventor Thomas Edison was famously dismissive of sleep, reportedly viewing it as a waste of precious time that could be spent working. Edison claimed to need only 4 to 5 hours of rest per night, and boasted about his minimal sleep habits. He actively promoted the idea that successful people did not need much sleep, and that electric lighting, which he famously helped develop, would liberate humanity from the tyranny of night. However, some accounts suggest Edison actually took regular naps in his laboratory, supplementing his short nights with daytime snoozes. His public persona as a tireless workaholic may have been as much marketing as reality. The legacy of Edison's attitude toward sleep has contributed to a culture that often undervalues rest in favor of productivity. Modern research firmly contradicts his view, showing that adequate sleep is essential for innovation and health. In ancient Rome, doctors prescribed sleep for nearly everything. In the ancient world, sleep was often regarded as a powerful remedy, and Roman physicians frequently prescribed rest as treatment for a wide range of ailments. The temples of Asclepius, the Greek god of medicine adopted by the Romans, featured sleep chambers where patients would rest in hopes of receiving healing dreams. Doctors recognized that sleep aided recovery from illness and injury, even if they did not understand the biological mechanisms involved. Sleep was considered restorative for both body and mind, and extended rest was a standard recommendation for the sick. The ancient appreciation for sleep as medicine contrasts with modern cultures that often sacrifice sleep for work or entertainment. While our understanding of sleep has grown vastly more sophisticated, the intuition that rest is healing remains timeless. The ancients knew what science now confirms: sleep is fundamental to health. Our ancestors probably slept in 2 long shifts before artificial light. Historical and anthropological research suggests that before the widespread use of artificial lighting, humans may have practiced biphasic sleep, dividing the night into 2 distinct periods of slumber, with a wakeful interval in between. References in medieval texts to a first sleep and a second sleep support this idea, describing a period of wakefulness in the middle of the night, during which people might pray, reflect, converse, or engage in other quiet activities. The consolidation of sleep into a single block is thought to have emerged gradually with the spread of artificial lighting, which extended productive hours into the night and compressed rest time. If true, this would mean that the modern expectation of continuous sleep is a relatively recent cultural norm, rather than a biological imperative. Some people who wake in the night may actually be experiencing a remnant of this ancestral pattern. Understanding segmented sleep helps reframe nighttime wakefulness as potentially natural rather than disordered. Our ancestors' sleep may have been more flexible than we assume today. People once believed nightmares were caused by demons. Throughout history and across many cultures, nightmares were attributed to supernatural forces such as demons, spirits, or malevolent entities that visited sleepers in the night. The experience of waking in terror, sometimes with a sense of pressure on the chest, or an unseen presence in the room, seemed to demand an explanation beyond ordinary experience. In European folklore, a creature called the mare was believed to sit on the chests of sleeping victims, causing terrifying dreams and the sensation of suffocation. Similar beliefs appear in cultures around the world, from the incubus and succubus of medieval Christianity to the jinn of Islamic tradition. These explanations made sense to people who had no knowledge of brain science or the nature of sleep. Today we understand nightmares as products of brain activity during REM sleep, often triggered by stress, anxiety, or other psychological factors. Yet the terror they inspire remains just as real as it was to our ancestors. The word nightmare originally meant a night demon. The English word nightmare derives from the Old English mare, a term for a malevolent spirit or demon believed to afflict sleepers. The mare was thought to sit on the chest of the sleeping victim, causing a sense of suffocation and terrifying dreams. The prefix night was added to distinguish this nocturnal visitation from other kinds of supernatural encounters. Thus, a nightmare was originally not a frightening dream, but the creature believed to cause it. Over time, the meaning shifted to refer to the disturbing dreams themselves, rather than their supposed demonic origin. The etymology of nightmare offers a glimpse into how our ancestors understood the experience of bad dreams, attributing them to forces beyond human control. Though we now explain nightmares through neuroscience, the word itself preserves a trace of the old folklore. Some ancient cultures believed dreams were messages from gods. In many ancient civilizations, dreams were regarded as sacred communications from the divine, carrying prophecies, warnings, or guidance for the dreamer. The Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans all had elaborate traditions of dream interpretation, often seeking the counsel of priests or specialized interpreters. Temples dedicated to gods of healing, such as Asclepius, offered dream incubation, where supplicants would sleep in sacred spaces hoping to receive divine guidance. Dreams were recorded on tablets, discussed with advisors, and taken seriously in matters of state and personal decision-making. The Bible and other religious texts contain numerous accounts of dreams delivering messages from God. This reverence for dreams reflects the mysterious, otherworldly quality they possess, a quality that continues to fascinate us today. Though we now understand dreams as products of the brain, the sense of meaning and significance they inspire endures across cultures. Some people naturally sleep only 4 hours a night. A small percentage of the population appears to thrive on just 4 to 6 hours of sleep per night, significantly less than the 7 to 9 hours recommended for most adults. These so-called short sleepers are not simply tough or disciplined, but seem to possess a genetic mutation that allows their bodies and brains to function well with less rest. Research has identified variants in certain genes, such as DEC2, that are associated with efficient sleep and reduced sleep need. Unlike people who chronically undersleep due to lifestyle or choice, true short sleepers do not accumulate sleep debt or suffer cognitive impairment. They often describe feeling fully rested after brief sleep and may have extra waking hours for work or leisure. The phenomenon is rare, and most people who believe they are short sleepers are actually chronically sleep deprived. Genuine short sleep is a reminder that biology can vary widely from person to person. These short sleepers often live normal, healthy lives. Despite sleeping far less than average, true genetic short sleepers typically enjoy good health, normal cognitive function, and long lifespans. Studies of individuals with the rare mutations that enable short sleep have found no evidence of increased disease risk or premature aging. These individuals often report high energy levels, positive moods, and productive waking hours, suggesting that their reduced sleep is genuinely sufficient for their needs. For them, sleep efficiency is simply higher, meaning they derive in 4 to 6 hours, what most people require 7 to 9 hours to achieve. It is important not to confuse true short sleepers with those who simply cut their sleep short through lifestyle choices, as the latter group does experience negative health effects. The existence of healthy short sleepers challenges assumptions about universal sleep requirements. However, for the vast majority of people, attempting to emulate short sleepers is unwise and potentially harmful. Sleeping more than 9 hours regularly can be unhealthy. While too little sleep is known to be harmful, regularly sleeping more than 9 or 10 hours per night has also been linked to health problems. Studies have found associations between long sleep and increased risk of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and even early death, though the relationship is complex. It is often unclear whether long sleep itself is harmful or whether it is a symptom of underlying conditions such as depression, chronic illness, or sleep disorders. People who sleep excessively may be experiencing poor quality sleep that leaves them feeling unrefreshed despite long hours in bed. For most healthy adults, the sweet spot appears to be somewhere between 7 and 9 hours per night. Excessive sleep is less common than insufficient sleep, but should be taken seriously as a potential sign of health issues. Listening to your body and seeking medical advice when sleep patterns change significantly is wise. Some cultures see long sleep as laziness. Attitudes towards sleep vary widely across cultures, and in some societies, sleeping for long periods is viewed as a sign of laziness or moral weakness. Industrialized nations, particularly those influenced by Protestant work ethics, have historically valued early rising and minimal sleep as markers of virtue and productivity. Sayings like "the early bird catches the worm" reflect a cultural bias that equates waking hours with worthiness. In such contexts, people who sleep more may face social stigma or judgment, even when their sleep needs are entirely healthy. This cultural pressure can lead individuals to sacrifice sleep in pursuit of acceptance or success, often to the detriment of their health. The judgment of long sleep as laziness fails to recognize the biological variation in sleep needs among individuals. Challenging these cultural assumptions is important for promoting healthier attitudes toward rest. Some cultures see long sleep as luxury. In contrast to cultures that stigmatize long sleep, others regard extended rest as a sign of wealth, status, or good fortune. In some societies, being able to sleep late and long is associated with having the resources to avoid early morning labor. Luxurious bedding, quiet private rooms, and the freedom to wake without an alarm are all markers of privilege in many contexts. Sleep, in this view, is not something to be minimized, but savored as a pleasure and a mark of a good life. Historical accounts of royalty and the wealthy often emphasize their sumptuous sleeping arrangements and leisurely mornings. This positive framing of long sleep acknowledges its restorative value and the genuine pleasure of rest. The contrast between cultures that celebrate and those that criticize long sleep highlights how social values shape our relationship with this fundamental human need. Paul McCartney dreamed a melody for yesterday. One of the most famous examples of dream-inspired creativity involves Paul McCartney and the song Yesterday, one of the most covered songs in music history. McCartney has recounted waking one morning with a complete melody in his head, so vivid that he initially thought he must have heard it somewhere before. He played it for friends and colleagues, convinced he was accidentally remembering another song, but eventually accepted that it had come to him in a dream. The experience suggests that the dreaming brain can perform complex creative work, synthesizing influences into something entirely new, while the conscious mind rests. Scientists believe that the loosened associations of REM sleep allow the brain to combine ideas in novel ways that might be suppressed during waking thought. McCartney's story has inspired countless artists to pay attention to their dreams as potential sources of inspiration. The melody that became Yesterday is a testament to the creative power of the sleeping mind. Mary Shelley's dream inspired Frankenstein. Mary Shelley famously attributed the origin of her novel Frankenstein to a vivid dream she had in the summer of 1816. While staying at Lake Geneva with her husband Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, and others, the group challenged each other to write ghost stories. Shelley struggled at first, but later reported dreaming of a pale student kneeling beside a hideous phantasm, an image that became the kernel of her masterpiece. She woke from the nightmare convinced that what terrified her might also terrify others, and set to work immediately. The novel, published in 1818, became a landmark of science fiction and horror literature. Shelley's experience illustrates how dreams can provide raw material that the waking mind shapes into art. Her willingness to draw upon that nocturnal vision gave the world one of its most enduring stories about creation and responsibility. Dreams often reflect what you did that day. Research has shown that dreams frequently incorporate elements from the dreamer's recent waking experiences, a phenomenon known as day residue. Activities, conversations, and concerns from the day often appear in modified or symbolic form during the night's dreams. This is thought to be part of the brain's memory consolidation process, as it integrates new experiences with existing knowledge. The connection between waking life and dreams can be subtle, with only fragments or emotional tones carrying over, rather than exact replays. Studies have found that learning a new skill or encountering a novel experience increases the likelihood of related dream content. This link suggests that dreams are not mere random noise, but are meaningfully connected to our daily lives. Paying attention to day residue in dreams can offer insights into what the mind considers most important or unresolved. Monks sometimes train to sleep sitting upright. In certain meditative and monastic traditions, practitioners train themselves to sleep in upright or semi-upright positions, sometimes remaining seated in meditation posture throughout the night. This practice is found in various Buddhist traditions, where it may be seen as a form of discipline, a way to remain alert even while resting, or a method to reduce attachment to comfort. Some monks report entering states of restful awareness that share qualities with both sleep and waking meditation. The upright position may also reduce the depth of sleep, keeping the practitioner more readily able to return to awareness. While this practice is not for everyone and may not provide the same restorative benefits as conventional sleep, it demonstrates the remarkable adaptability of human rest patterns. These traditions offer a glimpse into the outer edges of what is possible in the relationship between sleep, rest, and consciousness. Humans may be naturally biphasic sleepers. Growing evidence suggests that humans may be naturally inclined toward biphasic sleep, dividing rest into 2 periods, rather than the single consolidated block that is now the norm. Historical accounts, pre-industrial societies, and even some contemporary sleep studies support the idea that a brief waking period in the middle of the night was once commonplace. Before artificial lighting extended the day, people may have slept, woken for an hour or 2, and then slept again until dawn. This pattern was not considered disordered, but simply how sleep worked. The modern insistence on a single, unbroken night of sleep may actually be a product of industrial schedules and electric light. For people who naturally wake in the night and struggle to fall back asleep immediately, the knowledge that biphasic sleep is historically normal can be comforting. Embracing rather than fighting this pattern may lead to a more relaxed relationship with nighttime wakefulness. Napping is increasing in popularity in modern workplaces. After decades of viewing naps as a sign of laziness, modern workplaces are increasingly recognizing the value of allowing employees to rest during the day. Companies in various industries have begun providing nap pods, quiet rooms, or designated rest spaces where workers can take short breaks. Research showing that brief naps improve alertness, creativity, and productivity has helped shift attitudes among employers. Tech companies, in particular, have been early adopters, but the trend is spreading to other sectors seeking to enhance employee well-being and performance. Napping at work can reduce errors, improve mood, and even decrease the risk of accidents in safety-critical roles. The change reflects a broader cultural acknowledgement that rest is not the opposite of productivity, but a prerequisite for it. As the science of sleep continues to reach the public, napping at work may become as accepted as the coffee break. Sleep science is still uncovering new mysteries. Despite remarkable progress in understanding sleep, scientists continue to discover new aspects of this essential state that surprise and challenge existing assumptions. Recent decades have brought breakthroughs, such as the glymphatic system, the role of sleep in immune function, and the genetic basis of short sleep. Yet fundamental questions remain, including why some functions of sleep cannot be replicated during wakefulness, and why sleep deprivation has such profound effects on cognition and health. New technologies for monitoring sleep in real time and in natural environments are revealing patterns that were invisible to earlier researchers. The study of sleep in diverse populations and across lifespans is expanding our understanding of how rest varies and what it truly requires. Each discovery seems to open further questions, reminding us of how much remains to be learned. Sleep science is a dynamic field where the next major insight could be just around the corner. Sleep remains one of science's greatest unsolved mysteries. Despite everything we have learned about sleep, its deepest purposes remain elusive. We know that sleep is essential for survival, that it restores the body and mind, and that deprivation leads to catastrophic consequences. Yet no single theory fully explains why evolution has preserved this vulnerable, unconscious state across virtually all animal life. The complexity of sleep, with its distinct stages, circadian rhythms and ties to memory, emotion and health, suggests multiple overlapping functions that may never reduce to a simple answer. Every new discovery reveals further layers of complexity, from the molecular to the behavioral. Sleep continues to intrigue scientists, precisely because it touches on the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be alive. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to be savored as much as solved. And as you drift off tonight, you become part of that enduring wonder, a gentle traveler in a realm that still hides its secrets. And so we come to the end of our journey through the quiet science of sleep. From the strange patterns of jellyfish drifting in the sea, to the dreams that inspired symphonies and stories, from the mysteries of REM to the secrets of circadian rhythms, we have wandered through the landscapes of night together. What we have learned is simple yet profound. Sleep is not an absence, not wasted time. It is a world unto itself, a nightly voyage where the body repairs, the mind renews, and the heart finds its rhythm again. It is as universal as breathing, and yet still carries secrets we cannot quite name. Think of the countless beings sleeping now. The dogs twitching in dreams of fields. The dolphins resting one half of their brain at a time. The astronauts tethered in their floating cocoons. Sleep is the common thread that unites us all, from the smallest creature to the largest, from the ancient past to the distant future. Each night we return to it willingly or not, because it is home. And as you listen now, you might feel yourself already slowing. Your own heartbeat softening. Your breathing deepening. Your thoughts drifting gently, like leaves on water. Perhaps you feel the edges of your mind softening too, the way the day dissolves when night takes hold. There is no need to hold on to facts or stories anymore. You can let them scatter like stars across a dark sky, while your body slips into the rhythm it knows so well. Sleep will take what it needs. Some memories, some fragments of the day, perhaps a dream or two. And the rest can simply fall away. If your eyes feel heavy now, let them close. Let the rhythm of your breath become steady, like the gentle cycles of sleep itself, like the patient drift of dreams through the quiet hours. Tonight, as you rest, sleep continues its ancient work. Your brain cleanses itself. Your memories crystallize. Your emotions soften. And somewhere in the depths of your mind, dreams are being woven from the threads of the day. You are a small, warm presence within this infinite mystery, peacefully resting among the wonders of existence. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. And may you carry with you the quiet knowledge that sleep is not simply rest, but renewal. A nightly journey that has carried every living thing since life began. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the wonders of sleep. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Drowsy Discovery for more soothing explorations of science and our remarkable universe. There are more wonders waiting. More secrets hidden in the rhythms of the night. More mysteries to drift through on quiet evenings. Rest well. And may peaceful dreams keep you company through the night. This has been Drowsy Discovery. Good night.